As I walk down the steps of Wider Building into the drill deck, I can vaguely hear yelling. Lots of yelling. As I get closer, the yelling gets louder and louder. Finally, I get to the door and see midshipmen running back and forth, yelling at students who, like me, are beginning their new student orientation for Penn State's Naval ROTC. The second I walked through the door, I was no longer to be referred to as Richie. From that point on, I was to refer to myself as Midshipman 4th Class Candidate Jethan. Quite the mouthful. Upon entering, I walked down the steps and took everything in. It was hot, and sweat had already started forming on my temple, back, and chest, and this sweat wouldn't stop for the next week. The first thing I had to do was turn in paperwork and pay $25 for a unit polo and a haircut. Little did I know this haircut would turn out to be a complete buzz cut. When I went to pay, I put my belongings down onto the table the midshipman was working on, and I was instantly disciplined for not asking before I put my things down. I apologized by saying, "Sorry, ma'am," but this was even further discipline because apparently she was a midshipman and not a ma'am. The goal for freshman orientation was to train new midshipmen and give them basic knowledge so small mistakes like calling a midshipman ma'am wouldn't happen in the future. The main goal, though, was to determine who really was joining the unit for the right reasons and to instill discipline into the new midshipmen. We were all given a knowledge packet. This pamphlet had all the basic knowledge that I would need to know for the next week and further on. It included the Navy and Marine Corps chain of command, the 15 leadership traits, the ranks and rates of the Navy and Marine Corps, weapon safety rules, and our 12 general orders. We were instructed to read our knowledge whenever we were doing nothing and waiting around. Due to all the paperwork throughout the week, I must have read the entire packet maybe 10 to 12 times all the way through, but only retained about a quarter of the information. Before we really did anything, our families were brought into the drill deck and they got to see us swear into the military. After that, it was goodbye until hopefully Friday, graduation day. After they left, we were all lined up and all the guys got their heads shaved. In my opinion, getting our heads shaved was a metaphor for starting a new way of life. We got a fresh start and we were now held to higher standards. From that point, I was to get a haircut every week as long as I was in the unit. Also, there was no telling who was who with the buzzed heads. Everyone looked the same, and therefore no one could be looked at as better because we all looked like the idiots. As the week went on, things got harder. Countless push-ups, running back and forth, and getting screamed at. But as I went on, that didn't really bother me. I joined NROTC to become a Marine officer, and in my mind, this was easy compared to what I would have to face in the fleet later in my career. On the first night of NSO, our Marine officer instructor, MOI, gave us a speech. He gave us one every night of NSO, but this one was the most meaningful to me. He stated Theodore Roosevelt's Man in the Arena speech. To sum up what the speech says, it says, "The man in the arena is the one who does not care what other people think of him. He's the man who is actually doing something with his life while others are just watching from the sideline. This man is humble, and he works hard, and he fails, but he continues to work, and eventually he succeeds. But in the end, he could also fail. And if he fails, he knows he tried his best and gave everything he had to give." Our MOI went on to say that although we were just starting, we were the men in the arena. We are the ones who are trying to do something bigger than ourselves.